Speaking of hard, you wrote a lot about and talked a lot about scenarios in which your business partners were either good or not so good, strong and weak. And, you know, in your first year of your transition from Acxiom to the startup, what were some lessons you learned?
First thing I learned was how little I really knew about the telecom industry. And my view was, hey, we had done business with Sprint and AT&T, quite a bit with IBM, and I said, you know, we know that, you know, I know telecom companies. I've called on them. I've talked to their executives. But unfortunately, what I knew about was the marketing side, and I didn't know about the call delivery and that whole side of that world. And so I got in, you know, just be sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Quite honestly, if I'd known, the guy that sold us this whole idea at the time claimed that he was sort of in the industry too. He claimed he was an expert. Turned out a lot of his ideas, he really was a BS artist to a great extent. And
that ultimately, did that hurt the company at some point?
It hurt it a lot because, you know, and I actually, you know, put my first $1 million in this thing, and I actually just kind of left it go for about 8 months. And, you know, I checked in with them a few times during the 8 months, and they had this going on, that going on. But they were kind of optimistic. And then about the 8th month, I talked to CEO Jeff Staldaker, who I'd hired. And Jeff, how's it going? He said, not too good. I went, well, what's wrong? He said, I think we're going to run out of money before we get this thing. And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute. Now, I had agreed if they got a contract signed to give them another $1 million, he said, we're going to run out of the money and we're not going to have a contract signed. And I went, what? Because they had kept telling me it was close, it was close, it was close. And I said, you're not? He said, no, I don't think so. We're still trying. And, you know, by the time they had gone about another month and a half, it was becoming obvious they were going to be out of money by the 10th month. And Jeff came to me and said, hey, we've got a couple of really good things going on, but, you know, I can't make payroll next week. I went, what?
Wow. In 8 months, I mean, that $1 million.
Well, he said, we need the other $1 million, or we just need to shut it down or whatever. And now Jeff was the COO, and not the CEO, was still the guy that was the original founder that I gave the money to originally. And he came onto the scene and said he was demanding that I actually put in the whole other $1 million. And I said,
that's a hefty investment.
Now, I would have $2 million in this thing and had nothing proven. And our contract clearly said I would put in $1 million, and then I'd put another $1 million in if they had achieved a contract that would guarantee at least $500,000 or so in annual revenue. And they were nowhere near that. And it turned out we never ever signed such a contract because we're trying to do it as old wireline companies. But at the same time, Jeff Staldaker and some of the tech guys had built this BlackBerry app. And so I got engaged to the point that I said, what about the BlackBerry app? And they said, we think it's going to be a winner. And so I did get engaged on the BlackBerry app, and ultimately I said I'd put more money in it, but I'm not going to put money in it and own 20% of the company. I'm going to have to own controlling interest in the company.